Hello, hi Jonathan, this is Vivien.
Hi, Vivien.
Hi, very nice to meet you virtually. Okay, so hi everyone on LINEA Rock. This is Vivien speaking, and I've got on the phone Jonathan from KORN. Hello, Jonathan, and welcome on LINEA Rock.
Thank you.
Okay, so you've always been pioneers in experimenting and blending different styles. So now, for your 10th studio album, The Path of Totality, you did something, once again, completely far ahead and groundbreaking, melting dubstep and metal. So what brought you to the decision of the fusion with dubstep?
I've always been an electronics fan, and when I started listening to dubstep, the first dubstep, like the old school dubstep, was more reggae-based, and it wasn't as heavy. But when I started listening to, I think the pioneers of making it heavy was Excision and Dotsik. They were making sounds that couldn't be made by the guitar, so I was thinking, what if we insist around and did guitar riffs over the top of it, or anything. It was just an experiment. I wanted to see what would happen if we just melded the two under together, and it worked out really good, so... First, we were supposed to do an EP, but we enjoyed it so much. I worked with so many different people that we turned it into an album. I hate people are closed-minded. That's just what you're supposed to do. That's how you pioneer. That's how you try to change things. People don't like change usually, but it's going down.
Yeah.
I never heard it ever until John actually played it for me. I didn't know anything about it. It was new to me. And I just thought it was really cool, all the sounds and the things it was doing and how they can take bass and you can make it move and wobble and like all these cool things that I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. It just seemed like it just went together. It wasn't something forced.
The album is full of collaborations with some of the best dubstep and electronic producers, such as Skrillex, Excision, Downlink, Noisia, Fit Me, 12th Planet, and Flinch. The first song to come to life was Get Up with Skrillex, who will then be present on 3 songs on the album. So I wanted to ask you, how did the collaboration with Skrillex actually start in the beginning? And he's been a long-time KORN fan.
Yeah. Actually, I just called him up and asked if he'd be interested in working with us. And I called him right when he was on before. He blew up before all the big Skrillex hype. He was just releasing the record. And I called him and asked him if he'd be interested in working with us. And he was all, hell yes, man. So he came in and did 2 days, and we came up with 3 songs. And it was a great experience because he was from a rock band. He had a rock background, so it was fairly easy to arrange, regular song structure different than electronic song structure with him.
About this second single, once again featuring Skrillex, how was the making and the recording of this song?
Again, it was relatively easy. Skrillex came in with the idea. We jammed it out in the studio, me and Monk. It came together rather quickly. It was the 3rd song that we did, and so Skrillex had to go back on tour, and he didn't have a bridge, so that's when we got Kill the Noise. When we played at Coachella, I was talking about, man, I need a bridge for this song. That's the big drop in the middle, and he said, well, I got this guy Kill the Noise, who'll just kill it. So he came down. I didn't realize that Kill the Noise was E1, which was an old drum and bass, his old drum and bass tag, and he is just amazing, that guy.
How did the actual recording processes in the studio change with these producers?
Well, we had them come in and they did everything on their laptops, a bunch of laptops and then a bunch of analog gear. So we were doing guitars and analog, and they made sounds and tracks digitally to a Pro Tools rig and many different things. We had an analog and then converted it back to digital, and it was just way huger.
We did something that, we had to do a little tricky so we could kind of keep it to sound rock or metal or whatever you want to call it, all the way to running it back when it's done, running it through the analog board and getting the real sound, playing real instruments. So it was me playing bass, and we did it as a band. Kind of like the dubstep would be like a skeleton of some weird sounds and things, and we would hear it, and sometimes we'd have to change it around to fit the structure of a song, because most dubstep artists are not writing songs, they're just up there rocking, they're just making sounds and rocking. There's not a structure of a verse and a chorus so sometimes we have to take an area and be like, oh, this is a verse, and move it. You can move it on the computer and move it over and say, well, this is a chorus, let's make it a verse, and you move it around and you organize it. That way you're able to lay down the foundation of a song. Mm-hmm.
Does Downlink open all of your concerts, or do they actually kind of rotate in a way?
They have been rotating. Downlink just got here today, first time. He's going to be here tonight. They rotate. For example, even when we played one in Hollywood at the Palladium, and Skrillex was there, and he's like, he didn't want to do all that. He goes, I want to play guitar. So he came out and played guitar in 2 songs with us, which was cool.
Awesome.
Yeah, so it's like, you never know what's going to happen.
About your brand new single, Way Too Far, featuring 12 Planet and Flinch, how did that great song come together?
I like the dynamics in it because of the verses they feel like they're really heavy, but they're small. And then this massive, heavy, big chorus comes in, and it's real extreme. It's probably the most extreme I've heard to keep a verse. Because a lot of times people go into a verse where it's quiet, you know, and it's like, like just quiet. But the verses are heavy, but then it gets massive, this massive bass and this big, huge chorus. And it was pulled off pretty well.
Well, so thank you very much and have a great show tonight.
All right, thank you.